guys, it's me, Nasara. So today is March 31st and it marks the end of the first quarter of 2025. And I know that I cannot be the only one that was absolutely inundated with these videos on YouTube starting around November of locking in, become unrecognizable, and all of that stuff. Changing 30 days, changing 90 days, changing 102, 120 days. And you know what? I bought into it. I started my journey of self discovery and really being purposeful about achieving my goals. And I guess I locked in in my own way. So this video is just about how, like an update, I guess, how I've been doing for these past 90 plus days. What I do, because I am not a long-term girly, I have to break my goals up into short sprints. And so it's like my goal strategy takes a lot from the project management agile methodology, because I figure if you're using it to grow your company or complete projects in a professional settings and it's a proven method, then it only makes sense to use it in your personal life. So a big part of it is doing short sprints. And then after your sprint, you have a sprint review where you go over what's working, what's not working, and then you start your next sprint. So that's what I do for my goals. I think of things in the sprints. And also, I don't think of my goals as set in stone. They're always changing, because as I continue on, I realize, okay, well, I thought this was a good idea before, but it turns out it's not. Also, another method from project management that I take is the idea of scope creep. When you start a project off, you have your scope of the project. That's pretty much what exactly you want to or have to do to accomplish your goals. That's going to include your end product, that's going to include your milestones and everything. Scope creep is pretty much when you start to add things that were not a part of the original design, and slowly it can, my baby's crying. Let me just finish off this one thing. Slowly, you can realize that because of all of the scope creep, your project is not even the same project, and your deliverables that your stakeholder is expecting are not the deliverables that you have now. All right. So the first thing that I learned during this first quarter of the month is knowledge is literally everywhere. Nowadays, if you want to learn something, you can learn it. Between ChatGPT, Google, YouTube, other learning resources, you can learn to do exactly what you want to do. And so for me, that looked like whenever I had an idea, going to ChatGPT and asking it, I have this idea, these are my skills, how can I implement it? That actually led me to no-code app websites. And I'm working on a few apps. I realized I like working on apps. So that helped me to see, okay, well, I have this idea. I don't know React. And right now in my life, I don't have enough time to learn a new programming language. So I'm using no-code websites like Flutterflow to build my app to create an MVP, which is a minimum viable product. That way I can kind of scale my app and see if there is a real market, I guess, for it. well, I think it's the best thing in the world. I want to make sure that it's something that I can actually grow before I invest money and additional time and resources into learning a whole new thing. So, yeah, knowledge is everywhere. You don't have to pay someone to develop something for you. If you're able to or willing to put in the work and go through those hard times of learning and getting over that hump, you're able to do so much because there's literally so much knowledge online. Okay, so then the second thing, I just put up four fingers. The second thing is that creativity grows when you start small. At the beginning of this, I had just come from staying home for a year with my baby. And as mothers know, that first year is very, very challenging. And I, like many other mothers, found myself losing myself and just getting caught up in this little tiny human that you're trying to keep alive. um, and so when it came to starting this journey, I kind of thought, oh, I don't have any good ideas. I can't really think of what I want to pursue, and all of that. I realized that once I started small and started thinking of, oh, well, wouldn't it be cool if there was this thing to solve this problem? Then, as I started to grow and do that, ideas came easier. So, when you're training your mind to think of solutions, be solution oriented, uh, if you start little by little and start implementing different ways of thinking within your daily life, you're able to connect more abstract ideas easily. And I have really been on a mission of taking my skills of data analytics and project management and finding a way to combine them. I also am really interested in living, like I've mentioned on this channel, an intentional life, a peaceful life. And so finding a way to find my ikage. I always say that wrong. I need to look up how to say it, but it's this Japanese concept of how to live a fulfilling life. There's four concepts of it. I keep on putting up two. There's four concepts of it. It's finding something you like doing, something you're good at, something the world needs, and something you can make money from. And so I've been really on that journey of finding four things that really help me hone into my overall purpose of life. So, the third thing that I've learned on this journey so far is that finding your hobbies and really honing into your hobbies can be such a healing thing. For me, I have been really making sure that I'm not just caught up in work, but I am really learning how what things make me happy outside of productivity, because growing up and a lot of my adult life, I've always based in my overall worth in my productivity. And when I was younger, getting good grades, and as I get older, doing well in work environments and whatnot. But I've been realizing that I am much more than my productivity. I am a holistic person. I can have many facets of my life. I can be good at work, I can be good at my side businesses, and I can also be good at my hobbies, because this year I'm really honing in on doing those things. I don't know if it's just me, I know it's actually not just me, where you look online and you see people really living out their dream life. And you say, oh, I wish I could do that. Oh, I wish I could do this. Why can't you? This year, I am not only being intentional about my mental health, but being intentional about creating a life that I love living. Working at the hospital, I think I've realized how short life is and how precious it is, because I have seen so many people my age in their late 20s, early 30s suffering from cancer, end stage renal disease, all of these horrible things. And, most of them still have a smile on their face. And I'm here worried about X, Y, and Z and having it come down and be like, oh my gosh, life is over. When I have my health, I have my family, I have comfort. Everything is okay, more speaking. um, and so that's really just, I guess, my pushing factor. And so the things that I've really started to work on is my baking, learning more about herbs that heal. That came from drinking tea. I downloaded that Red Note app, and these girls on there, they are like, I guess in Chinese culture, there is more of an emphasis on holistic health, and using herbs and tea to treat different things. And I started drinking more teas and experimenting with more herbs and stuff. And honestly, guys, it's been great. I've noticed such a difference. But anyways, now I'm learning more. My garden this year is mostly different types of herbs. And so I've really put a lot of time into that. And also, let's see, I said baking, herbs, and what else? Oh my gosh. I completely forgot. Oh, and sewing. So whenever I get an idea, whatnot, I've been trying to consume less and make more, which is part of the reason why I'm doing these videos, because I'm learning a lot, but I'm not really producing. And when you're producing, it helps things to stick better in your own mind. But also part of that is kind of desubscribing from, or unsubscribing from, consumerism. I am, I have the ability to sew. I have the ability to learn different crafting and stuff. So instead of trying to buy every little thing, I have committed to, instead of trying to buy every little thing, I've committed to actually making what I can with the ton of fabric that I have stored up in my house. And so I'm trying to get through that stash, and not just go to Home Goods or Marshalls to get things for the house that honestly I don't really need. Okay, so my next thing, I'm gonna be completely honest with you guys, I totally forgot what number I'm on. But the next thing, and the most important thing, is to trust in God. Because in September, I went back to work and I started off part-time. And I was praying to God that He was going to lead me to a job that, one, was a good environment, because I know that the stress of adjusting would be a lot on me, and I didn't want additional stress of a toxic environment. And two, would lead me to somewhere. Now, I live in the middle of nowhere. So in order to get a job, I had to drive to the biggest city close by. It's an hour and a half drive, but I prayed and I said, God, I'm giving it 6 months to move into a better position. Now, a hybrid position had opened up. I applied. I didn't get a response. And it was a job that I knew that I could do and that I was more than qualified for. But I was like, okay, what is for me is for me. I'm not even going to sweat it. Another couple weeks go by. Another position opens up. I apply for it. At first, I didn't hear back, but I knew one of the managers. She had like an office nearby where I used to work. I printed off my resume and I went to her office and I was like, hey, I emailed, I didn't get a response. So here I am. And I ended up getting that job. And when I tell you everything works out how it's supposed to work out, you know, put your trust in God, because this team that I'm on right now, and they just didn't respond because this manager was on vacation, but I didn't know that. But within the 3 months of starting, remember, I said 6 months. God is so good that within 3 months of starting the job, I was switched over into another role that was full time, hybrid. My supervisor is amazing. They are very much your family and your kids come first. So I never have to worry, like, oh my gosh, my kid is sick. What am I going to do? I always have that flexibility of I can work from home. If I'm sick, I can work from home, um, which really has been a blessing. Uh, yeah, so those are the things that I've learned in this quarter. Also, just loving the journey and not just looking at the destination. Because a lot of the things I'm working on, they're not really short term. But I have been rewarding myself with just accomplishments along the way. And so I think that has done a lot for just my longevity and not giving up. Funny thing is, I had the idea to do this video because I was so over this app. I was running into this issue. I couldn't get it in the test mode. And I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to quit. Forget it. But then I started to think of all the ways that I've grown in this last 3 months. And I was like, oh my gosh, God is so good. And you know, I'm going to call myself out because after I got my job and after I settled in, I didn't really, I realized that I haven't been praying as much about my next steps. And I think part of that is just I've gotten really comfortable with where I am, but I need to get back on that. Praying every day, reading the Bible, and really giving my projects to God, because honestly, I can't really do it by myself. So yeah, that's it. If you guys have been working on anything interesting, let me know. Like, subscribe, comment, and all that jazz that you hear on every video. All right, guys, bye.